In a culture that fiercely praises stoicism and emotional armor, crying easily is often misunderstood as a sign of weakness. Yet, biological science reveals that frequent tears actually indicate a highly sophisticated, deeply developed neural architecture inside your mind. Humans stand entirely alone as the only species on this planet capable of shedding complex, emotional tears. Nature deliberately designed this unique physical response not as a fragile flaw, but as an advanced evolutionary tool. If tears come quickly to you, it simply means your underlying emotional processing system is working exactly as intended. Today, we decode the hidden psychology of the highly sensitive mind and the profound strength behind emotional vulnerability. The first major psychological pillar of this trait is an incredibly heightened baseline of internal emotional awareness. Brain imaging shows that in tear-prone individuals, the amygdala and anterior cingulate cortex are remarkably sensitive to environmental shifts. You register subtle emotional changes much faster than the average person and experience those feelings with immense intensity. This rapid neurological response is not a lack of control, it is an advanced form of sensory perception. The second defining characteristic of those who cry easily is an extraordinarily high capacity for deep empathy. Your mirror neurons don't just politely observe the pain or joy of others, they actively absorb the experience. When you witness a heartbreaking scene in a movie or see someone struggling, your brain literally replicates their exact reality. This psychological bridge allows you to connect with human beings on a level that colder minds can never reach. This profound emotional resonance serves as the foundational bedrock for genuine trust, authentic influence, and deep leadership. The third crucial factor is an incredibly responsive, highly efficient autonomic and parasympathetic nervous system within your body. For you, shedding emotional tears acts as an immediate, involuntary biological reset to maintain your internal equilibrium. Crying actively flushes toxic stress hormones out of the body, rapidly reducing cortisol and restoring emotional balance. Therefore, allowing yourself to cry is not losing control, it is your biology actively working to regain control. Behavioral research indicates that individuals who suppress their tears carry a significantly higher long-term burden of chronic anxiety. Because you naturally process your feelings instead of burying them, you possess a much greater baseline of psychological resilience. You may struggle intensely in the immediate moment, but your long-term emotional recovery is fundamentally healthier and more complete. Furthermore, psychologists frequently link the tendency to cry easily with an exceptionally high degree of personal authenticity. You lack the toxic desire to perform a false version of yourself, allowing your true humanity to remain visible. This uncompromising emotional honesty acts as a powerful catalyst for forming deeply secure, lifelong, interpersonal bonds. You naturally cultivate relationships that are built on raw sincerity rather than superficial social convenience or performance. This brings us directly to the concept of emotional intelligence, which remains the single strongest predictor of life's success. True emotional intelligence is not the total absence of feelings, but the ability to recognize and navigate them wisely. By crying easily, you have already mastered the hardest part of this equation: instant, honest, emotional recognition. Your next developmental step is simply learning how to channel this profound sensitivity into confident communication and leadership. The most impactful leaders in human history were never cold machines, They were visionaries who felt the world deeply. Your visible sensitivity is not holding your personal growth back, it is the exact foundation upon which it stands. Of course, a sudden increase in tear readiness can also be driven by immediate, real-world physical factors. High stress, chronic exhaustion, hormonal shifts, and intense sensory overstimulation can all lower your emotional threshold. This physical reality does not mean your mind is broken. It simply means you are beautifully, completely human. Society continuously demands that you become tougher, thicker-skinned, and increasingly indifferent to the world around you. But perhaps our modern world does not require more hardened armor, it desperately needs people who can feel fully. Your tears are direct, undeniable proof that your heart is still wide open and your empathy remains active. They show that you have refused to let the cold indifference of modern life numb your core humanity. And in a detached world of performative social media filters, that genuine vulnerability is an extraordinary rarity. People who cry easily are almost always the ones who love deeply. Notice small details and listen intuitively. They possess a rare psychological sophistication that alters the very atmosphere of any room they step into. They intuitively feel the hidden tension, the unsaid grief, and the quiet joys that everyone else completely misses. Never apologize for the depth of your feelings or look down on your tears as a personal failure. Your willingness to experience the full spectrum of human emotion is not a weakness. It is a superpower. It allows you to create authentic art, build deep communities, and heal the invisible fractures in society. When your eyes well up during a difficult conversation, remember that your body is merely speaking a profound truth. It is announcing that you care enough to be touched by reality, refusing to hide behind a mask. This emotional transparency is a creative forge, converting raw external pain into deep internal wisdom over time. Trust the intelligence of your tears, for they are the ancient alchemy through which the soul purifies itself. Prolonged emotional suppression always hardens the human spirit, turning vibrant individuals into cynical observers of life. By allowing your tears to flow, you keep your psychological landscape fertile, open, and ready for true joy. The next time someone tells you to stop crying, recognize their discomfort as a reflection of their own fear. They are terrified of the very depth that you navigate naturally every single day of your life. Stand firmly in your sensitivity, protect your open heart, and honor the quiet power of your emotional design. You do not need to edit your reactions down to fit into a world that has forgotten how to feel. I'm Leo, and I hope this note helps you find a sense of pride in your beautiful, deep sensitivity. Stop treating your tears as a flaw, celebrate your capacity for profound empathy, and protect your inner sanctuary. Decode your own mind, embrace the evolutionary brilliance of your emotional nervous system, and never apologize for feeling. Cry when you must. Love with absolute courage. Think deeply about your path. And always stay grounded.